Computer. Hi guys, this is another episode of the apex.world for Dummies show, and it doesn't mean that anybody here is referred as a dummy. It's just that I'm asking dummy questions to topics that are arising in the apex world, the apex environment community. Where you people probably ask, there's a new product, what is this all about? And today we have Matt Nolan on the show, and he released recently 10 plugins which are free but still supported, commercially supported. And it probably, I asked the same question like you, what the heck is this all about? But how are you up to for these days, Matt? Anyway, I mean, I see you are in your office. The people, when you see, it looks like you're in a home office, but actually this is your office, right? This is your external office with all the pictures.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for having me on the show. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm still in the same place. Obviously, with restrictions, lockdowns, I'd like to be in Vienna at the moment. I'm supposed to be there actually this week with the team, but it hasn't worked out because of all the restrictions that Vienna's back on the list, or Austria's back on the list in Finland. But yeah, otherwise everything's great. Everything's still the same. Just working hard and obviously plenty of family time because, as you can see with all the pictures, there's lots of kids keeping us busy. But we've had a really good summer, and I think we've got like 3 days left before summer is over, or 2 days.
Is there summer in Finland?
Oh, we had a great summer actually. Yeah, I mean, like we got up to 30 degrees.
What?
You know? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So global warming is for you, basically.
Well, I think we're one of the beneficiaries of global warming, that's for sure. So we are getting better summers, but the winters are also getting a bit worse. So that's the downside. Well, they're a bit wetter than they used to be. So we're hoping for a really cold winter this time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the whole. I thought it would be nice to have not so cold winters.
Well, I think actually the coldest is when it's around zero, just above zero, and wet. That I think for me, if you get a bit of wind like that makes you feel colder than because the humidity's there.
I
get
that.
Just super cold. Whereas when it's dry and really cold,
it's much nicer and have snow, real snow.
Well, that's right, and it's funny when it's really cold, the snow is crunchy. So when you walk on it, it's got a sound to it that's quite funny. It's not what you expect, and then it's also really glittery as well. So the girls love it, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know about glitter for myself, but
yeah.
So busy, working hard, and as you were talking about, we've got some plugins that we released. It's not me myself; it's the whole team. That's been half the team, I would say, actually, because there's now 10 people in the company. So we've got some free time to dedicate towards working on open source stuff, and it's something that we set about doing over a year ago. So we set the wheels in motion. Because basically we were doing a fair bit of standard Apex development, and we were creating things to help us with that as well.
All right, so let's dig into it. So you created 10 different plugins. I have to admit, I didn't look into it right now because I knew that I would make the show with you and said, well, Matt is explaining it to me anyway. And we just talked about before because you had this situation. So we recently brought in the category of commercial. We actually called it commercially supported plugins. We brought this new category into apex.world to distinguish the free, regular, I would say, hobby plugins from developers who say, oh, I have a nice idea, or I solved a problem in my company with a plugin and I share it with the community, but this is it, right? And I'm always saying, don't use plugins. you get code from people you don't know, and you don't know if they are secure. You don't know what they're really doing, and you are 100% sure you don't know if they're working in the next Apex version, and then you have a real problem. Which I'm talking from experience. Right? I had a plugin from a guy 10 years ago. I don't know, and it was in 10 different projects. 100 different pages, and suddenly the next Apex version, it stopped and was very complicated. And then you have to, it was just a short upgrade time planned for Apex upgrade, 3 days altogether with database upgrade, Apex or IDS upgrade, all the stuff. And then it took, I don't know, 8 weeks before we could get live because I had to replace this old plugins with a different solutions. You don't want to have that. So therefore, we created this other category where we say now there are people who are also developing plugins, and you can simply buy them as a additional as a product addition to Apex, and you can be sure that they are still working in the next Apex version, that they are professionally developed, and that they are safe to use basically in a real project. And now you came up and said, well, we have also this commercially supported plugins, and then we figured out, oh, wait a minute, you don't pay for the plugins, right? They are still for free. That's the whole point.
Well, just to interrupt you there, like getting back to what you said about you had this plugin that you used for 10 years before it stopped working. So I just want to point out you had it for 10 years. Okay. So
no, I didn't have no. It was 10 years ago when I had the problem. So I had it for 2-3 years.
Right. Okay. But this is the thing. That's the thing though. You get that immediate benefit from it. It solves a problem.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It puts it off in the future that it can create a problem for you. So it's like technical debt in a way.
And don't and for the people, don't think, oh, it's open source, you can change it and you can by yourself. No, if you're not a plugin developer and you're not used to develop plugins and understand all that, it's a different level of Apex development, right? It's not something you fix in, like a regular Apex thing. So you have to put a lot of effort into it to take over and change it to your needs. So you need to be a
we
pro.
know that, and that's why, we're trying to help solve sort of this problem or be part of the community in providing something where people can feel confident using open source plugins and know that they're going to be supported and know that they're going to be supported for a long time. And, with this latest set of 10 plugins that we released, it's under a banner called FOSS, which is free open source supported plugins. But the reason for having them is basically for helping developers, productivity solutions. It's basic things that you're going to use to essentially just make things easier.
But what is the deal? So
we support it for free. It's free support through GitHub. So you raise an issue, you can issue a pull request if you want to fix a bug. And then it's optional that we offer a commercial support contract for companies. So, like in terms of Apex developers out there, there's a whole range of different ones that work on them on their own, for a hobby project, or ones that are freelancers. Or then you've got developers working for companies, commercial organizations.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully.
Where the applications are business critical.
Yeah.
So, the optional support is for those companies. It's for those businesses that need that guarantee, that want to have someone they can call.
Now we already mixed things up. Okay.
All right.
So right now, to finish that, so when we introduced the category commercially supported, it was for plugins that Dimitri came up, which you pay a couple of €1,000 and you buy the plugins, a license like a regular product, everything is fine. And you can be sure that it will be developed in the future like a regular product, right? Everybody understood that. And then you guys came up and said, wait a minute, we have something else. Actually, our plugins are for free. You can use them for free in commercial projects, and it's just an option to buy additional support if you really need it in a company where you say, well, I want to have change requests, I want to have immediate or prime support, then only then I pay money, right?
That's right. So, but
So
we actually did come out before in the beginning with the image editor. So that is a commercial plugin. So we offer free open source ones.
yeah,
We offer
exactly. I
commercial
remember.
plugins,
Yeah.
individual ones. So actually, yeah, we got that started where we asked you for, can you put this into Apex World where we can differentiate
Yes.
a commercial plugin versus an open source one.
Yeah.
And then obviously later on, well, we're releasing these open source ones. Well, they're not commercial per se because they're free to use. So that's where we sort of needed the different category of it's commercially supported, but it's free to use.
So now we have on Apex World two categories or three categories. We have the regular plugins, which we know, no attribute. Then we have commercial plugins. Commercial plugins are where you buy a license of the plugin, like
That's
you
right.
easily understand. And now we have the commercially supported plugins. It's just invented for you, not invented, we used the old name and we used it for your type, which are plugins which are free to use, also in a commercial environment. But if you want to have prime support or, then in a company you can pay a support or can buy a support package additionally, right?
That's
This
right.
is kind of a hybrid. So these are the three categories. And so to be honest, Matt, the first thing I thought, oh, okay, now these guys, now they bringing out, they cutting out some of their 150 Forex plugins, and they offer it as standalone plugins. But it's not has nothing to do with Forex or XJS, right?
No, it's got nothing to do with our enterprise framework. Basically, because we do standard projects, we do standard Apex projects, because this is the thing about, developing applications is that you use the right tools for the right job. All right. And because we're building Apex applications, or different sorts of ones, is that we need different tools for different jobs. Okay. And that's where these open source plugins are coming for. They're for standard Apex applications. All right. They're not based on any EXTJS JavaScript code. There's no dependencies. They're atomic. So you install one plugin, it works. There is no
pure
linkage.
Pure
Apex. Pure. Well, I mean, there's JavaScript in there. So, yeah. I mean, like, is that pure Apex?
We have JavaScript in every Apex app. This is now, but it's pure Apex, meaning it's not you're not forced to use the EXTJS framework or any other framework or anything.
No, because the EXTJS framework is commercial anyway. So, and one of the things that we did with that framework in the beginning was we were basically just taking everything it provided and putting it into Apex in terms of plugins and everything working together. But, that's a complex beast to solve complex UI problems. And Apex, really, it's mostly used for, small to medium-sized applications.
That's not really like true. 95. The application builder has 2,000 pages, I guess.
well, that's the builder itself. But I'm just saying the majority of applications that we build, are relatively small. Even a 200-page application, is a medium-sized application.
Really?
In my mind. I think so.
Oh,
but
right.
because we see some projects that are like multi-year projects, like in Apex. Okay, and those things are beasts. They're like ERP, like
okay.
Large type,
but that's a very small.
But that's right.
Percentage.
It is. It's such a small percentage. So that's why we have these open source plugins. It's for regular Apex applications, and the reason why they're open source is that because we've developed them, all right, and they can just be used. I mean, like there's, it's not like we. They're not huge plugins as well. So they're like utility plugins, or they're things that solve, problems that we face regularly in our Apex apps. So that's what we're trying to do, is just to make things a little bit easier for people. So, but of course it's optional if you don't have to use it. They're just there.
I'm always critical if I don't understand the business concept behind something, or like, I think Steve Jobs said it once, if you don't if they don't want your money, they want your soul. So I'm always asking myself, if I understand the business concept, like, oh, you have a commercial plugin, I pay for it, great, love it. I love to pay money for stuff.
Yes.
And whenever I don't pay anything, I'm always cautious and say, okay, what does this guys really want? But as far as I have understood is, well, you need to see your legacy. You are the guys on the planet who built the most plugins in Apex in this world, and you have the most expertise in plugins building, right? This is undoubtedly true.
Well,
even more than
I don't think you can say it's undoubtedly.
How many? Give me a number. Give me a number. How many plugins have you built?
Well, no, as a
number.
As a company, I don't know, 230 or something.
See, but 230. This is
Jürgen, I know Daniel Hochleitner. He's a plugin developer. He's built a whole bunch himself. But
yeah, but Daniel Pluggy has built Tanish, and Ronnie Weiss even,
Ronnie's even more, but
even more, right?
But what you don't know about are all the plugins that are built in commercial organizations that are not released.
Yeah. Anyway, let me explain your business concept for you. Let me explain it for you. So you are the guys who has the most expertise in creating plugins on this planet. So you came up with the idea and said, well, now we have a little free time, and why don't we do what we can do best, building plugins in a professional way, and release them for free so that a lot of people are going to use them, and they get to know our company, and if they are using it in a commercial environment, in a company, they maybe want to even buy a support package because they are serious about it, which is a small fee to get the support package, so we get a little money back. But the main concept for that is not, doesn't have to be how you say it, a profit center, like you say, a different line of business which has to make a lot of profit. It's more like, well, we show the world what we can do, what we are experts in, and then, well, and we maybe get a little money back, and maybe get best case even. But we have our name out, we have our reputation out. The companies come to us and they're asking for personal plugins, or right, and it's a half promotion thing.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm calm again. It makes me I'm relaxed, right? If I understand the business model behind it, and it's not like I feared in the beginning. Oh, these are kind of plugins which drags you into the Forex framework.
No,
it's not.
No.
It's not.
No.
So it's not Forex. It's completely Apex native. It's a different line of business, and it's half promotion, and you are happy if you get money back.
Well, I mean, obviously what we're wanting to do with it too is to grow the number of open source plugins that we offer as well. Obviously, we don't want to come out with hundreds of them because that's probably a little bit difficult to manage, but we definitely want to include more. So we've released 10, we've got a roadmap for another 5 in the next version. If we get support, people paying for support, it just means we get improvements to those existing plugins. We might get ideas that we hadn't thought of from other companies, and we're able to put more time into it as well. So that's just one of the things that we already put in a level ourselves, but from a financial cost perspective, we can run like that for a while, but we're not going to be bringing out 10 plugins every 6 months, or like every 3 months. But if it is successful, if we have 100 companies that pay for support, and the support's €1,000 a year,
so
then
nothing.
Well, I mean, but if 100 companies license it, that means that we can have 1 to 2 people dedicated to just working on open source plugins and dealing with support and creating more and more of them. So like it's something where we see that with the setup of apex.world anyway, we know that what's successful are open source plugins in terms of the number that are created, that they're available there. that developers use them. We know also from selling commercial plugins that, it's not an easy thing to do. You get a smaller subset of companies that are willing to pay for, what you offer. And, for us, we like building plugins, so we just want to show people, like you said, what we can do. We really like solution design. We really like coming up with designing plugins in a way that they can sort of solve multiple problems at the same time through using different settings. It's to get away from people publishing how-tos on blog posts and stuff like that of put in this code, put in that, do this step, do that. It's just like use the plugin. The help text is all in the settings, and they're quite easy to use without actually having to follow too many instructions.
And you can be sure that they are, maintained over the next Apex version.
Well, that's right. And because we publish them on GitHub too, is that even if you're worried about us or anything like that, is that you've got access to the source code. It's there for you. You can fork it, you can take it, you can do what you want with it. Obviously if you make improvements to it, it'd be nice if you give those improvements to us through a pull request or something like that. But you don't have to, we're not saying anything like you have to do this or do that. It's there to be used, and that's what it's for primarily. We've been working with Apex plugins since the plugin architecture was introduced. We really like doing it. So we've got guys in the team who take holidays, and what are they doing? Like on their holidays, they're building plugins.
Okay.
They're just messing around with R&D.
That's really weird, to be honest.
Not all their time, but well, this is what we've got. Young guys,
rethink your company policy, or maybe Peter is expecting them to come back. You can go on a holiday for 5 days, but expecting at least one plugin when you're coming back.
No, you know what's funny? I'm telling the guys, don't do any work on your holidays. Like that's the directive that I'm giving to the guys.
We made this podcast the other day with Maxime. Because, Maxime is a genius, an Apex genius, and he has this S-Max Solutions company where he helps other people. But what's most impressive to me is this guy really manages this life-work balance, right? When he takes off, he really takes off, and he goes for hiking or canoeing and, being with the kids. And then because he's also an apex.world admin. And developer, and he said, well, tomorrow I have a day off, or this afternoon I take a day off with my kids, and he really, this is the key, that you're not working day and night and through the holidays. So if you want to be successful on one side, you also have to rest on the other side to level it out.
Of course. But we all know that sometimes with projects too, that there is that just before the project deadline is due, we're sort of working like crazy. And that's the great thing about projects, is it fluctuates. You work a lot, then it's out there, then you take the time off, relax, do those sort of things with your family. But the Canadians know how to have the work-life balance, because they've got the nature in the mountains.
You do. You have it too, right? You could.
Well, I'm lucky because I live in the countryside in Finland, and we've got all the forests and lakes and stuff like that. So we get out regularly on the weekends, hiking and stuff like that. And that's the great thing about being in IT, is being able to work remotely. And
that's true.
I think, the world is really...
COVID is for us, right?
Well, but COVID's opening everybody's minds up to the fact that, hey, I don't need to go into the office all the time. It doesn't need to be there, like Monday to Friday. Obviously it's still good to head back into the office from time to time, because, working on your own.
It's a special time, right? It's more like seeing each other, having lunch together, and just small talk, and So I'm meeting with my people here from Siemens every now and then, having a dinner just to small talk, and it gives you a different working atmosphere.
Well, it's really needed to connect with the guys too, or girls. Sorry, I don't mean to label everybody as guys.
No, you're already politicized, right? You're,
Well,
you're
I
political
remember you've had.
correct. You're politically correct now.
Well, I'm just being careful because I know you've had a podcast in the past where like there's some controversy got created. So I'm just trying to sidestep that with this particular vlog that you're doing. But how about I show you some of the stuff?
Yeah,
So we've
please,
just
please,
seen
please, please,
ourselves.
please, please. We talk too much. Let's
All right.
let's
Let me share my
see what's
screen.
really in the
Okay,
box.
let me share the main screen.
I haven't see it for the first time now.
Okay, I'm just
Oh, very
dragging
nice.
some windows
So
across.
see, this is now commercially, and you are the only guys who are having this commercially supported attribute.
Well, yes, at the moment, but hopefully there's others that are going to do it too.
Yeah, it's an interesting business idea, if you want to call it business idea. So, for example, Mike Tyson is coming back and is fighting against Roy Jones Jr. So the best two boxers for the last 20 years. And he is giving away all his the income. I think he gets $20 million, $30 million for the fight, and he is he's donating it to whatever. And they say, well, he creates with this fight so much attention that this $30 million, he had different other businesses running. He creating much more money for the publicity, right? That he can easily donate the 30 million. So this is a great business idea, literally.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing in the analogy of Mike Tyson. But I'm a boxing fan too, so
yeah, me too. I love him. I really can covering his technique. It's in my heart. This is how I'm feeling. And whenever I'm a boxing trainer, I say, okay, let's do Mike. This is me.
So the only criticism I'd say for the plugins here is when you come up here to show commercially supported, it's yes or no. That you don't have the three options.
Yeah, so, we talked about it lately and with Maxime and said, well, I don't want to bring.
I know.
I want to say for the regular guys who has no idea what is commercially supported. I have no idea. I don't care. I want to have two categories. Is there commercially something or no? And then you see everything, right? If it's commercially supported, and then you get into it and, probably read it.
So that's right. So when we go into each plugin, so we're just putting this here. We're just putting this here so people are aware that it's a free plugin.
Very nice description. The best description I have seen so far.
Well, maybe we need a bit of improvement on our images. I'm always a little bit critical of some minor little details that we do.
Yeah, it would be great. We always try to encourage the people to make small animated GIFs that people get a feeling, what is this all about? Just show a little use case with an animated GIF if you can do it.
Yep.
Because people are, they're browsing. We have 250-ish plugins right now, and they don't click on your demo page and log in. They just want to get a feeling. Oh, what can I do with it, right? And then
Well, that's right. I mean, there's some of these plugins that it's a little bit hard to do that. Because they're just like dynamic actions. But,
sure.
For the static regions, yes, we should, and the Pl Sql region that we've got. But just to show, so this is the GitHub landing page for FOSS. So it just shows all the repositories that we've got for the plugins. Okay, and then we provide a demo app as well. So this is the landing page. If you just go to foss.world, so you can actually we're following along from apex.world, but we're calling it foss.world.
Very nice.
Open source.
You guys are always good with, the marketing part and all this. You put a lot of effort into it. I really appreciate that.
Well, it's something that's central to the business. I mean, we're a commercial organization, so you have
Yeah,
to
but
put in
still, I mean, there's
that
a lot of
extra effort.
detail, love into it, and well, I always appreciate if the company is really giving a lot and really taking care of details and not say, well, it's good enough, right? And then I get the mindset of these people. If somebody has not doesn't care about a good description and a crappy demo application, well, you probably can expect the same working ethics when you hire these people.
I
Anyway,
would say it takes a lot of extra time just on the little
I know.
details.
This is me. This is me. So,
I,
so I put
I
so much. I'm gonna cancel this apartment here, my office, and so the realtor was there, and I said, "What did you put all in there?" I said, "All this little detail work." I said, "Yeah, I put 50,000 euros into this, and a lot of time and everything. I want to make everything perfect, and to make it perfect, it takes the other 80% of effort to make it good enough. It's 20%. To make it perfect, you have to put the other 80% into it."
yeah. Yeah. So even though 80% of the work's done, that final 20 is really 80% of the effort.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this should show this, we've got the plugins in here, okay, but we've also got a roadmap to say, hey, what's also coming in the future. So we've got a number of plugins there. So we've got individual demos for each of them as well. So one that I'll just highlight, from each of the sections is we've got to execute Pl Sql code. So what that allows us to do is just to have some things like having a processing icon show when you're running it. We can have notifications that when we run something, we get a notification. This is built into it, so you don't have to have additional actions to do notifications. Same
So
with...
the thing is, what you're showing right now is that you can invoke a Pl Sql process from a dynamic action.
That's right. So, I mean, here's the cool thing is we built this little page designer impersonator. So you can actually go in there and see how we've actually done it.
What?
So, well, that one's actually got nothing there, but it's just so you don't have to log into the builder.
Amazing, amazing. This is what I talk about. This is what I talk about. It's amazing. Love
So
it.
this is for documentation too. Well, we found that, like Apex provides a great way. It's very familiar for everybody. So we should document it just like how it's done in Page Designer. And we can just filter it for the example that we're particularly looking at too. So it's actually one of our young guys, Zolt, who actually built that. What's funny about him is he actually played for the Hungarian national team under 21 in football. So he's just a guy that is like seriously dedicated. He didn't have any Apex experience. He didn't have much IT experience before he started with us, and he's only been with us a year. And he's the one that created this thing. So there's a fair bit of work that's gone into this.
Yeah.
It's not something that we're offering. It's just something that we've just got for documentation purposes.
You need dedication.
We've got some guys that are really dedicated, hardworking, and that's
Working
not forced
in the
on them.
holidays. Well, I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know. I don't know. Maybe Peter has this system.
no, not at all. No, I mean, the guys like coding, and plugins allow you to code. So that's one of the cool things. And because it's a nice structured way of doing it too. The one thing I would just say about this execute Pl Sql code one is that we do something a little bit different here. So we've got this advanced usage. All right. So when you just toggle this on, you can actually return a JSON object in your response, which can actually do things like hiding and showing buttons and items and regions and
Nice.
disabling, enabling things as well. So
Great.
just to cut down on
Amazing.
creating a whole bunch of actions. So if we were to, this one just shows that we're hiding and showing items. Okay, or we could return validation errors.
you calling a Pl Sql function from a dynamic action, which doesn't require the page load, and when you come back, you can bring a configuration object back, which is doing other things you would usually need 5 other dynamic actions to do that,
Yeah,
right?
so we're trying to roll everything up into one so that because when we're going back to the server, we're performing some operation on there, and there's usually something that we want to bring back to tell the user or to do something on the page.
I
So
love this. I
we're
love this is amazing. I'm going to use that
we're just trying to get a lot done with it. So
because
you've got
this is simplifying a lot. Because I'm loving dynamic actions, and there is no application without, I don't know, 20 dynamic actions. But they used to get messy over time, right? If you have 20 dynamic actions on one page, well, you really need to know what's going on there. And this would simplify a lot if I say, okay, I'm calling this business process, and I know when result is coming back, I need to hide filters and reports and whatever, and I don't need 5 other dynamic actions which are listening to other events, and after refresh I do this and that. So this is what I'm going to use.
and we're just reusing recommending that you use the apex JSON API to return that JSON object as well. So we've got the examples there.
Nice.
Interactive grid is another area that we're focusing on. So one is the ability to process rows. Okay, so the interactive grid we think is great. It's got a lot of capabilities, but it's also got a lot of, when you want to customize it, there's a lot of JavaScript code that you need to write.
That's true.
So we're just trying to sort of simplify things a little bit. So, but what we can do here is, we can actually process selected rows, so we can perform an action, and we've just actually updated their values. If I do it again, it's just adding $100 at a time, or 100 euros because we're in Europe. So just to show you what that looks like, okay, is that we're processing the rows, and we're just basically providing some SQL that we're going to do for our update statement, and we're passing in the actual, so we'll replace that bind variable with the current selection. All right, and you can either do that for selected rows, or you can do it for all rows that are returned by your filtering too. So, like if you just basically did a search and you wanted to just give a raise to this one person. Okay. So, yep, that's one of the other things in terms of regions.
I'm going to use that. I mean, I also use this with a peace of mind, because I know you guys are going to develop this from now on.
That's right. So, hopefully we get feedback and we add more and more to it, especially the execute Pl Sql Code one. There's a lot of more things that we could do in those advanced instructions, but it is for more advanced developers. So we're not sure how many people are going to use that, but that's where, like some people in the team say, hey, you're making it too complicated. And, I kind of overrule them and say, hey, we're
complicated.
We need to provide...
I just started.
Well, I would like to say, I would like to support more ranges of developers. So I tend to want to have stuff for people who are more advanced and want to do more advanced things. But at the same time too, they're there to just solve simple problems too. But we've got a Pl Sql dynamic content region here. So the cool thing about this is we can change values, okay, and it automatically updates, based on...
What is it? What is a Pl Sql dynamic content? Bring me in the picture. What is the problem? Why do you need a plugin for that?
Because you can refresh it. Okay, so the idea is without having to re-render the page, you can refresh so you just use the sys-HTTP.
Exactly. So you have when you have a Pl Sql region, you cannot refresh it with a dynamic action. That's the problem in Apex.
No, and we can also we've added lazy loading and lazy refreshing as well. So just to show you what that actually looks like is, all right, so we've got basically a tab container here, just your regular Apex tab container. And so we're not actually loading the content until we click on it, basically.
Yeah.
So, and same with refreshing is,
I'm using the same principle in my applications. Let be the main page be as fast as possible, and then add another second when he wants to see different tabs, rather than rendering everything and let him wait 4 seconds for the main page, and then eventually, if he's clicking to other tabs, that they are there immediately.
That's right. You know, like, and we've done the same with the static content region as well. The interesting thing about the static content region is that we can also offer you to, I'm just trying to work out where it is. Okay, is it we can actually execute some Pl Sql code before actually refreshing as well. So because you'll have substitution strings in here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, within your template, and we're saying, well, hey, maybe you need to update those values. You submit some page items,
Great.
and then perform some
Great.
calculations. So it can,
Check.
you know, like
3 out
it
of
can
10.
behave like a Pl Sql region.
3 out of 10. I'm using 3 out of 10 already.
All right, and so there's a bunch of other ones. Some other interesting ones are client-side conditions. So that's if then else between your dynamic actions. So, you know, you can actually, as you're stepping through, because you're going to have multiple actions, maybe you want to check something between actions and decide whether you proceed, you know, with the following actions, or if you branch to fire an event to perform some other.
So the problem is once you have a dynamic action, you have a condition, a client side and server side condition, and on this dynamic action you decide if this dynamic action is running or not. And after that, everything runs. All the true and false actions are running.
That's
through.
right. So
or you have to build in inside the code another condition that this special kind of action is not performed for whatever reason, which is very, you know, hard to figure out or find out for another developer. And you are saying that you are bringing conditions inside the actions.
That's right. So you can see here is we have a client-side condition. If not null, then do the next one, which is just to fire a notification. So, but obviously you'd have some more actions before you do your client-side condition.
Amazing idea. Love it.
So it's again to provide if-then sort of else stuff. Another one that might be interesting as well, which is the timing actions. So yeah, there's timers out there that you can get to perform things repeatedly, but we've also added in a delay. So you might want to just, for some reason, sometimes timing-wise with Ajax calls and things that are happening, you might want to actually delay something for X many milliseconds before firing the next actions. So we've added that. Same with debouncing. So, you know, like if someone clicks on something too many times, so I'm repeatedly clicking here, it debounces the actions and then it only runs after the 3 seconds. So it's just to make sure it's more efficient, you're not firing off multiple things. Same with throttling as well. So again, timing actions can be actually quite useful because we've got these extra things in here, not just a timer.
Great.
Okay, so that's basically the plugins. You know, you can see on our page here, you know, some things
Give me a better overview. You're clicking me too fast and too much. You know this thing, right? Go back to apex.world. Let me see what we have. Let me see what we have there. And let me identify them. Can you go back to the overview?
The overview of what?
The overview of your commercially supported plugins.
Okay.
Just filter to commercially supported. You had it before.
Okay.
You're the only ones anyway.
Yes.
Not FrostWorld, apex.world. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, okay. The timing actions you showed us. Static content you showed us. Pl Sql dynamic content you showed us. Notifications. I can imagine.
Well, I showed you that. Yeah, because you
showed me that. Message actions. Okay, interactive grid process. We did that. Interactive grid add button. We did that.
No, we didn't do that one. No, we didn't
do that one. Hold on. Let me give you an overview. Pl Sql code. Execute Pl Sql code. We did this, right?
Yep. Client-side condition.
Client-side condition. We did that. File upload. File upload image editor is a commercial thing. It's not in part of this.
That's right. We talked about that. We talked about that one earlier in the year.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, great. All right. So what haven't we talked about yet, which is still in there? I mean, the notifications is clear, I think.
Trigger events.
Trigger events, yeah, please.
Well, trigger events is very, very basic. You can just trigger an event, you know, basically. Like if I just bring that one up. Sorry, getting started. All right, that's under utilities. Trigger event. All right, so it can be very basic, basically, which is if I just show you the design, all right, is on button click, we're just triggering this custom event. Okay, and we can either decide, do we want to pass through a data object so we can reference it, this.data, you know, in a JavaScript expression in the client-side condition. But then, you know, we can also have
Go back to the data. Go back to the data. It was
okay,
too fast
sorry.
for me. Too fast. Uh-huh. Okay, a value. Uh-huh. Okay. Use the current data object. Okay, I get that. And this is this is my limit, but I understand that because whenever you create an event, a browser event, a DOM event, then you're not just saying, "Hey, I clicked," but you can also, and not only this button has been clicked, so there you can pass additional information that maybe this button had, you know, give me a value of the race, right? This 100 euros, and you can pass an additional parameter to this event, and this is how you can do this.
That's right. And, you know, we can actually support multiple events because you could comma separate event
okay.
two, because sometimes depending on how you design your things is like sometimes you need to fire multiple events, and it's just, hey, we're firing one, we can fire two, just comma separate them. And then there is a bit of advanced configuration is that you can actually add a client-side condition. So we're just combining things because you'd be like, oh, well, I could use your other client-side condition, but hey, we can build it into the plugin as well because we're just sort of reusing code. And then you decide, do you cancel following actions or not when you trigger that custom event? Okay, and then you can also set a page item with the event name too, so you know what event is actually fired in that page item. So it's just
I didn't get that. I didn't get this last part.
Well, we can set a page item with the name of the event that you're firing. Okay.
Ah, yeah.
So you might,
Yeah. So the event name is dynamic. Then.
Well, that's right. So you can understand, you know that when you're in here, because you might have multiple events that you fire. So, you know, you just know which event that you're dealing with when you set a page item. That's all. Because you can actually, when you do multiple events, you can do multiple conditions as well, believe it or not.
Okay.
So but that's really, you know, a little bit far out there. I'm not sure if anyone's really going to use it, but you know,
but it's
again,
just for you, right? This is Johnny Ive's golden Apple Watch. He wants to have the first Apple Watch had to be a gold edition with 20,000 euros, and this is your thing, right? You earned it. Like they said, Johnny earned it. He gets his golden Apple Watch. Matt earned it after 200 plugins. He gets his multiple event dynamically.
Well, I think
by an item. This is what you earned.
This is definitely where I did cop a bit of criticism from the team of like, hey, this one's a little, because it just started.
I hear it. I can literally hear it.
It just started with an event name. That's all we do when we fire, and we have a data object. And I was like, well, hey,
that's too easy
that's not
for
really
me,
providing enough. You know, let's put a bit more into it.
It's not fun.
Yes. So, but you know, like this is the thing too. You know, like we've got a lead developer on the open source plugin stuff, which is Stefan Dobre. You know, he's our JavaScript guru who's, you know, into everything.
He already did this presentations in
yes.
apex.
So
I know Stefan.
He's hooked on plugin development. He just absolutely loves it. And so we just channel him into this stuff and also give him some help. And, you know, there's a fair bit of help that actually went into. So we had the plugins and then obviously getting all this stuff together. Like you said, that last 20% took 80% of the time.
Exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So writing a plugin is easy. Writing all the documentation, doing all the demos, getting all the testing in, getting all the deployment, all that sort of stuff. That's where all the work really is.
Yeah, I see it. I see every hour right now. Okay. Because I'm also investing it and I'm pretty impressed, very impressed. And I haven't seen it before. And I didn't want to see it before because I want to be, it should be original. I don't want to, know everything beforehand. I just say, I'm a stupid dummy user and let me see what you have and react in real life.
All right. You don't want too many people agreeing with you with that statement. All right.
Yeah, but it's true.
Well,
We
it's not
think,
that true, but
no,
yes.
come on. 90% of the Apex developer are regular guys, right? And they are not this IT nerds like you are. And they maybe do
I take
Apex.
offense to that, you know. I'm a regular guy, just so you know.
No, you're not. You're not, Matt. You're not.
Yeah. I'll take the glasses off. See, now I'm a regular guy. But we got some videos as well that are on the
Hmm.
website, so
Okay.
you can get a link to the website from when you're on the support section on FOSS. So if you just click support,
Explain the
it'll
support
take you
thing.
to.
Can you go, so you pay support for what? For the whole plugin suite or for single plugins? How do you pay the support?
Okay, well, the support, if I go down to the section here, so the free support is you just go to GitHub, okay, and you just log an issue,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we'll resolve it. For critical things where the plugin's actually not working, we'll fix it immediately. If you've got little small enhancement requests, we'll take them on board and we'll look at
Yeah, sure.
introducing that. But there's no guarantees.
Hmm.
It's not like we're trying to give you a bad service or anything like that. Not at all. It's just to say that we will fix the major things, and for minor things they'll come out in the next version that we release. But the extra support is basically we've got a support portal with the company, so you can come in, you can download everything, you can raise a support ticket saying, hey, you've got this issue, you need some help, we'll come in and help you. And whether that's just a usage issue or we fix something, we provide you with a hot fix. You can get that all through the support portal. You'll get a fast response, that sort of thing too. And we will prioritize enhancement requests for people supporting the project. So, taking the support package is showing you support for the project.
Mm-hmm.
And here it is in euros, it's 1,000 a year, and US dollars, it's 1,300. Okay, and there will be more plugins coming.
And the 1,000 euros are for all plugins.
That's right. And that's what you get is just access to the support portal. It's for the company. We're not putting a limit on developers or anything like that, because the plugins themselves, we've spent a lot of time on the demo application, hoping that it's really understandable how to use them. They're not complicated plugins or anything like that. So, we're anticipating that, there will be some support, but it's not going to be like a crazy amount of support.
Great. Perfect.
There is something about support too, is that, the other thing is that you've got all these plugins on Apex World, and, we've just released a commercial support package for ours, but we're also extending plugin support that, we're willing to take on anyone else's plugins and support those as well.
Oh, wait a minute. It was too fast.
Yes.
Repeat.
So this is a new service that we're offering, which is plugin support. So it's for existing plugins that are on Apex World or apexplugin.com, or you built them in-house, or a third party's created them and left you in the lurch.
So this is exactly my problem, which I had 10 years ago. Suddenly the plugin is not working. I have no idea how to fix the plugin because I'm not a plugin developer. And so I can give this old plugin from some dude to you guys, and you take over and fix it. And this is
exactly
okay. This is the service you offer.
So as to whether it's replacing that old plugin with a new plugin, or whether it's fixing the bug, for ones that are on Apex World, we work with developers. So at the moment we have 14 plugins that we're offering. So these plugins are from Daniel Hochleitner and Ronnie Weiss, like the two main plugin developers. So we've spoken to these guys. We're going to work together.
Who's the other? I didn't.
Ronnie.
Ronnie. Also, Ronnie. Oh, these are now you have the top notch, right? The top notch people.
Well, that's right. I mean, because we know both Ronnie and Daniel, and we know, the dedication and the effort, and we've looked at their code, and we're willing to work with them. So obviously we're not trying to take work away from them or anything.
No. This is interesting for me. So Ronnie's bringing out a new plugin, right? And what is happening now?
Well, we've got an approved list of plugins. So, we've spoken to Ronnie about, hey, what plugins do you want on this support list that will do the support for you? So we'll be the first line of support. We'll channel stuff to him. If he's too busy to fix it, we'll fix it. All right, and we'll issue a pull request, and he'll pull it into his main plugin code base. So the idea is that we keep everything up to date, you know, and we share the responsibility for doing it. So if they can do it, great, you know, and we compensate them for their time as well in doing it. So that's the other thing too. We're trying to help other developers in terms of, you know, supporting their plugins too.
That's an interesting idea.
Well, because we know ourselves, you know, like that when you're on your own, it's really hard, you know, and
sure.
when you've released plugins for free and people are chasing you down and they're not so kind to you all the time. I mean, well, and some people, you know, will buy you a beer or donate money to you. I mean, I released plugins back in the day before we started the company and stuff like that. And, you know, like I know how hard it was, you know, like, and I know for these guys, they do it because they love building plugins, primarily. It does help boost their profile in the community, all these sort of things. So it works hand in hand, boosting their profile.
But you probably don't have time to take care of 10 different plugins all the time because you have a real-time job, right?
That's right. And one thing that we're building too is a support application as well. So for managing your plugins. So
wait a minute, too fast.
What?
Back, rewind. I need to get this very clear. Okay, guys, you said, can you rewind please. Yeah. Okay, so if I'm, let's assume I become a crazy plugin developer. I can come to you guys and say, here, I created an amazing plugin and I want to basically share it. I love to do it, and I probably can put all the effort for the next 5 years into it because this will be more or less a full-time job. I can call you, contact you, and you look into the plugin and say, well, all right, looks good enough for us. We take over the support, right? And meaning if there is, if a customer is coming, and we're talking about the paid customers, we're talking about the customer with a support package, right? And they come in and say, hey, I use the plugin from Jürgen and it's not working anymore in 22, right? And this dude is, he didn't make the Notchlive, he's not there anymore. So can you take care of it? And you simply develop it or fix it, and with time and material, a regular time and material thing. Is this a thing?
That's also a thing. So I mean, like if you've got one that you've just got in-house, it's not shared with anybody, it's just yours, you know, that will be time and materials for fixing it for you.
Okay, if it's just an in-house thing, but for the regular plugin, which is on apex.world,
yes.
Why are you taking over the support? It's just to enhance your portfolio.
It's a two-step process, because I mean, one of the things that we got annoyed with, you know, I think it was about 10 months ago, there were discussions on Twitter about plugins, don't use them, they're not supported, you're going to run into all these problems and stuff like that. So we're plugin developers, we want people to use plugins, so you know, we're going out of our way to make sure people can use plugins and not have any worries about using them. So that's our goal, is to keep promoting, pushing plugins, because we think they're great, they solve a lot of problems, they're atomic. When they're on Apex World and on GitHub, they're in a single location, so it's easy for that to be updated and maintained in a central place and pushed out to everybody using them. So it's only fixed once and then everybody benefits, and that's how we can offer, you know, the support for it, is because it's you know, it's centralized, you know, so the effort,
so the business,
it scales.
The business deal is, it is, you know, it basically you add the support for these plugins, which means it's a promotion thing, right? You don't get money out of it.
Well, no, we do. I mean, because like it's the same price, you know, like it's you've got to pay €1,000 a year to have the support for these. So, you know, we're not doing this for free. So there's no free
So,
support for
okay,
these.
see, this is not that easy to understand. So,
Okay,
this meaning this thousand euros is this, which is this one support package I'm paying for the 10 plugins and others to come. Is this another 10,000 euros for this open source plugins?
that's right. So this covers a different set of plugins. So we've got our own plugins that you can purchase an optional support contract, and then obviously you can take this one as well. So you can combine it, and it's just like €2,000
Oh, now
a
we're
year.
talking. Okay,
So
see, now I understood it. So now you have 20 other plugins which are developed by professional plugin developers, which you say, okay, it's good enough for us to take over support. And you pay us for, if you use these plugins in your company, it's the same, basically the same business model,
exactly.
right? Mm-hmm.
So whether we've developed them or someone else has developed them, they can be supported commercially by us.
So
Okay,
people,
but we will go through an approved list. So we're not going to support every plugin that's on Apex World. It's not possible for us to do that. So I mean, if we do get a bunch of plugin developers wanting us to support it, we might have to say no to some. It just depends on what they've produced, us looking at the quality of it. But probably what we'll do in the ones that we say, well, we're not able to do it, but we can offer them some guidance on where they could improve, you know, what they've done to get onto the list as well.
But you
So
are
we might
open,
provide some guidelines, you know,
but you are
at some point.
you're open to new plugin developers who want to, you know, share
Of
the
course.
plugins with you. So it's not
Yes.
just restricted to plugin
No, well, I mean, at the moment, because we
and
know those
running.
guys. So, you know, because the whole thing here is when it gets commercial, we need to have that trust in place, and we need to have gone through and vetted the plugins as well. So, I mean, there is actually Stefan's plugins on here. He released some open source. So when I talk about the support application that we're going to have for this, it's just around sort of knowing what plugins are going to be, you know, what old versions that you're running, knowing that there's new versions available.
But this
Or
means, Matt, sorry for interrupting, but this
sure.
means that these people need to redeploy their plugins as commercially supported then.
No, they don't need to redeploy anything. We'll take it as is, you know.
Yeah,
So it's
but for
not
Apex World, it's not visible.
well, I understand what you're saying now. So maybe we need to have a chat with you after after
Yeah,
this
I mean,
after
it's
this.
simple. Just you know, you just have to redeploy this JSON thing and
Yes.
create a new version, and that's all I understand here. But Pluggy did it anyway. He should know what to do. And then you get also the commercially supported tag, right, for
Yeah.
this plugin. So you should because people should know.
Yes. So we will do that. Thank you for telling us.
Sure.
And we'll get that done. So, but the thing is that we're sort of embracing open source, you know, because basically that allows just everybody to benefit. And because it, like I said, it scales because it can be done centrally. A lot of these plugins aren't that complicated. You know, we're used to dealing with a lot of complexity. So it is refreshing sometimes to work with simpler things that are easy to manage, and you can just get it fixed quickly.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
this
But
is your playground, right? It's oh, okay, let's play around. Let's have some fun and
or,
fix some of these simple plugins.
so
From the simple-minded minded people, right?
well, I am going to hijack this you know, now and talk about the fact that we can do custom plugin development as well. All right. So this is again is like moving on. So we have, you know, open source stuff that we do for free. Then we've got the commercial support that we do. If you have a custom plugin that you want developed, that you have a problem and you think it could be best solved with a plugin that you want it reused in all your applications, we can do that for you. The difference with this service that we can provide is because we do commercial plugins is that we can make it much cheaper than it would be if you were to hire a developer to do it. because if we find out that it's a generic sort of plugin that everybody could benefit from, we can license and resell that. So we can reduce the initial build cost for people that want to get plugins built, and then we can add them to our commercial plugin range of ones that we license.
So basically, I'm saying, hey, Matt, I have this crazy requirement and I need it 10 different times. Would be great to have a plugin. And I said, well, actually, it's a great idea, not only for your companies, everybody can benefit from it. And if I'm agreeing to say, okay, I'm fine, and then we share costs, something like that.
That's right. So we can bring that cost down to like whether it's half the development cost or even less, depending on the commercial appeal of it.
Yeah.
So it's just to be aware of that, because I mean, like, the thing is, at the end of the day, we've always been there. We've always been able to build custom plugins for people. We're a specialist plugin company.
Yeah, sure.
But we also do project work too. But so, like I said, we have these commercial plugins as well. So we've got the file upload image editor. We're about to release soon a Kanban board. So
you showed this. This is amazing.
This is what we talked about earlier, but it's got
I love Kanban boards. I love them.
It's also a checklist at the same time, so it'll work quite well on mobile too. So you can just have a list of things and edit them very easily. But there's other things that we're looking at. All right, and this is just one thing I wanted to raise, because
one more thing. It feels like an Apple keynote.
Oh, but wait, there's more. Well, mate, don't even say that, because it's not even anywhere near.
Yeah, it's really impressive, really impressive, and I love that I didn't look into it beforehand, and this is all new to me, and I'm really impressed. Good. And I'm hard to impress, you know that.
Hey, I know you are a difficult man to deal with at times, but also, for good reason. But here's the one thing: when everybody talks about, hey, Apex is the spreadsheet replacement, all right, and then you build an application for them, and they go, well, it doesn't work like Excel, and you're like, well, yeah, because it's different. And you can mess around with the interactive grid, and you can come up with different solutions, and you can end up writing a lot of code to get some of that Excel style functionality in there. Well, anyway, we've done a lot of research on this, and there's actually a web component, and this is a great thing about the way things are going in the web world, is that there's components coming out left, right, and center. Web components are exploding, and they're really feature-rich type components. So basically, everything on the desktop, is moving to the web. All right, there is a company called Webex that provides a spreadsheet solution. So what is that? Well, think about, you replace your spreadsheet by creating an application, Apex application, with a spreadsheet in it. So. But no, have I lost you?
No, I'm thinking. When I'm getting quiet, I'm thinking. The question is, okay, I get that you can.
Okay, so
integrate any component, but how do I get the results back, or how do I bring it back to the session state, and
Okay, well, let's just talk about what this is. This is a region plugin. All right, so consider this as just a region on your page. You could have your header up the top, your navigation on the left. You could even have multiple ones on a page potentially as well. You can have multiple sheets as well. All right, but here you can also do your calculations equals sum. What are we looking at? E3 to E7. All right, and then you automatically get that. We can then format it. So, your region will have all this functionality, and when you click, there'll be like a save button, or it'll be automatically saved, actually, on changes that you make. It'll be normalized back to a database table, or a series of database tables, depending on the design, the structure. So, basically you think of, hey, here's all the columns in your table, and here's all the rows in your table as well.
So, so these numbers ending up in an Oracle table.
That's right. So your spreadsheet is actually an Oracle table.
Now we're talking.
So that's what I mean, is like, you've got your data, like in a spreadsheet, but in an Oracle database table, in an Apex application that's backed up, and that you've got, you've got all that security built in around it. You've got everything that you need. You're not sharing files. It's all accessible for everybody from a central location.
And the sum, is the sum also in the table?
Well, because it'll be sort of like cell based as well. So essentially, yes, you'll have this, not the actual figure, you'll have just the calculation, remember? So it was that one.
So how do I get the sum into an Apex item?
Well, there's integrations that we could do of like, if you click on a cell, we could set a page item value, if it's a particular cell. So we could have, we probably would have a dynamic action associated with the region plugin that would allow you to, to do actions and stuff like that.
So I can put it out in whenever you click on that, or I'm having some event is firing, I can take the value and put it in an Apex item and send it to the session.
That's right. We can have all these things hooked up, with dynamic actions, with all declarative, because of the way that we build things. So we it's hard for me to explain it properly right now, but it would make sense once we actually deliver the solution. You see actually how it works. And the cool thing about this too is that you could integrate it with AOP as well, so you can get a print version of it, or whether it's Pl PDF or some other document generation utility too. So that's sort of where we're going with things, is that we're, from commercial plugins point of view, we're very much into creating these big sort of, they're more like mini applications in a way. Same with the image editor and the Kanban board. These things take a lot of time to develop. They're not easy to just,
Yeah.
And that's why they are the commercial plugins for us.
Yeah, sure.
Because we think that we're looking for things that are widely used in business applications, or things that just aren't there yet, and where if you could just drop in a plugin and then all of a sudden you've got this functionality, it's just a great time saver, basically, for being able to provide your end users exactly what they're looking for.
Amazing.
So I know the spreadsheet one's a bit of a stretch. I don't know how many people would be interested in that.
People love Excel, right? And I'm sure this is going to be a hit, because
we haven't started on it
I'm
yet.
in IT for more than 30 years now, and one thing I learned: people will never get rid of Excel. They love Excel, and they always want the first requirement always is, can I export it to Excel? And if you say yes, they say, okay, I'm fine with your application.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want as long as I can export it to my Excel, then I'm fine. So I think people will love that. So, yeah.
Well, I think with this one too, as well, is I don't know how many toes it would step on though by having Excel within Apex. Like it might, because it sort of goes against what we're building Apex for, because it's to replace spreadsheets.
No.
Okay.
It's all about, it's not replacing spreadsheets, right? Apex has become the web development platform, I would say, a database-centric web development platform on the planet, and it's about getting the Oracle database sold. This, for me, Apex is the biggest argument to buy an Oracle database, period. And the more solutions we get like that, showcases like that, people say, oh, okay, what do I need? Oh, I also need an Oracle database. Okay, done. If I get this application with all these functions, I don't care about the database. Right? Give me the database. I don't care. Right? People don't buy databases. They buy business solutions, and they need a database for that. So that's great.
So what we want is, if anyone's interested in this, is to contact us to let us know. Okay, well, you are. All right. Good.
I am.
So we've already got a couple other people. So this is on our radar, and it's something that we'll probably start later in the year. So we've got to get the Kanban board out first, and the checklist thing, and then we're moving on to the spreadsheet. So that's something, obviously next year to look at.
Let's wrap it up. We can finalize it and say, you are the plugin company. The Apex plugin company, period. Whenever you have anything to do with plugins, you do it. We're
not the only company. We're not the only company.
I know. But overall, I know you're not the only company. Everybody knows. But if I'm right, I don't know. If you say, well, you want to buy a computer, you probably go to Apple. Right, and not doesn't buy a Windows machine. So because they have the hardware, they have the software, right? They have watches and little iPhones, and everything is working together. So if you want to go into a digital environment, you should go to Apple. It's getting worse, but it's still the best overall solution. So my reference to the Apple keynote was not that bad. So I'm really impressed. So everything.
All right. Well, I'm glad
great.
we can impress you.
I see this ton of work and hours and just in the documentation. And when I see how much love and effort you put in the documentation and everything, I know that the plugins are built the same way, right?
Well, that's the other thing too. Actually, it's funny. When giving stuff away, you're more worried about it because everyone's going to be looking at it. You know, with your commercial stuff, you're like, well, hey, only a handful of people get it. We do a really good job on the commercial stuff. Don't get me wrong. I was just amazed at the level that we went to on the open source stuff as well, because I think that's the thing is, you know, you're being judged and you want to make sure that you're doing a really good job. And, you know, we've got standards within the company, and we've got sort of like, a bar that we want to achieve. Like we set it quite high, and you know, we just want, you know, we are competitive as a company too. So, you know, like when you've said before, you worry about our business model and some decisions and certain things. You know, at the same time, we've been successful the whole time. And
stop the sharing. Let me see you full screen.
Okay, sorry. All right, let me just bring the window back over. But yes, it's just, you know, we're competitive, and we want to show that you can do a really good job, and we want to motivate other people to do, you know, to lift the bar as we're raising.
But it's a 360-degree approach, right? There's nothing left. So you provide plugins for free. You can add a support package. You also support other professional plugins which are already out there with the support package. You build custom plugins for companies if they need one, and even share costs if they are interesting for the community. And you also have great commercial plugins. So what else? This is 360-degree. Take it.
Projects.
Take it.
Well, we also do projects as well.
Yeah, of course you do projects as well.
Yep.
Right. But this is how you get into contact with customers. With stuff like that, right?
Okay. Well, thank you for having us on the show, and for us being able
to
point out everything that we're doing.
Was really enjoying for me. I didn't expect that.
Hey, good.
Yeah,
it's good to beat expectations.
Yeah, I love to be surprised in a positive way, which is not happening very often. Most of the time, you know me, Matt, right? I see 100 things that you can improve immediately. But everything is well crafted and well done. Love it.
Well, and it's the beginning, so there's more to come.
Great.
All right. Thanks, Jürgen, again.
See you next time when you publish the other commercial plugins. I would say.
Sounds good. Yeah, the Kanban one.
The Kanban,
yes.
I love Kanban.
Okay. All right. I'll be able to talk about Svelte to the framework that we were using behind it, and that's where you'll tune out. But yeah, we've got some really cool things that we're working on, and we're happy to share those. So thanks again.
Thank you, next time. Matt. See you. Bye.